Hey everyone, welcome back to our Advisicon Learning channel. Today we've got a great topic for you, which is really some of the latest updates by Office 365 Planner, supporting project program and portfolio management technologies. So I'm going to be showcasing some of the latest and greatest features that rolled out. Again, you're going to see more and more of these over time as they continue to fall out, but very exciting to be able to showcase and help you kind of pick up on some of the great things that are happening. I'll talk about some of the stats as well. So in fact, let's just get to it. Let me share my screen for everyone here so we can all see it. So as you think about Planner and Planner's ability currently to provide great task and work management, one of the things that we run through essentially is the ability to leverage these. Now, you know, at Advisicon, we love working with tools and technologies. In fact, we get to kind of work on the next two generations of tools before they come out, and certainly work with Microsoft on improving those. And what's interesting is that there's a tapestry, what we call task management, that's worked all the way through Office, Power Platform, Power BI, project tools, etc. So myself, frankly, again, I'm Tim Runcie. I love doing technology, love helping to lead organizations through the process of thinking through how to take advantage of both technology and best practices. But today, we're going to kind of lean on Planner some more, because inherently you've got 300 plus million folks leveraging this tool on a daily basis. If you think about the number of sessions that Planner and teams are all engaged in, Planner is still the #1 app added to the Microsoft Teams environment. So when we have 300 million uses a day of Teams meetings and events and calendaring and activities, we're seeing Planner threaded completely through that entire process. And what's great about that is the future of Planner isn't something that's just kind of part-time. Microsoft continues and will continue to invest in the leveraging of this, as it really is orders of magnitude of use by individuals in for-profits, nonprofits, at home, at work. People use this all the time for both agile projects, software development, and even just simple task or work management. So remember, the whole concept of Planner was designed to help people understand how to take this task management, kind of this checklist of things that need to get done, and of course, move that into more of a collaborative work management. Now remember, the idea is that project itself, say Microsoft Project, the desktop tool, or Project Online, or Project Server, or new Project for the web and all of the connectors, even Project Operations, are really what we call project program and portfolio management tools, but they carry more weight, if you will, in terms of how people work with that. Now, Planner, of course, was designed and owned by the project team, and they said, you know what, let's actually help bridge the gap between this lightweight task list management to a place that teams can collaborate, but maybe they're not trying to track cost or hours, etc. Well, we're finding that organizations will love to jump into Planner and are thinking of what is that process of how they go through in maturation through that life cycle. So as we think in terms of kind of the big picture of task and work management, it's really interesting thinking about how in project operations, or we're connecting project tasks in terms of personal assignments, team assignments, we're really just seeing that a lot of this is threaded through Office 365 Planner. And while you might have large level tasks, and we talk about the Power Platform and how we're structuring this, in many cases, as we look at the growth and the structure of that, I love this picture here, is that the center of the universe certainly is around the task and work management. And we're going to see app mentions coming out of Office. We're going to see other ways that we can get tasks into our to-do or task hub. But Planner really plays a pivotal role in helping to make sure that activities and assignments are certainly progressed. So enough about the overview. Again, this is kind of the big picture and the role of Planner. I think it's important to understand that it's going to continue to provide great work management, supporting larger initiatives. But the idea is to blend kind of Planner, Project for the web, and of course, even leverage this embedded in Microsoft Teams. So this agile component of using Kanban boards and the light touch has really caught fire. And so if you think about this, you might start in a low-tech approach, and then at some point, maybe this project will grow into a larger project. But the idea is that if we think in terms of the structure, Microsoft's intent is to still leverage and improve the interface so that things like Yammer, which is almost like Facebook for business, but the idea is this social experience that people have in collaborating, communicating, and making sure that things get done are going to continue to improve. So the initial views and charts and graphs and productivity monitoring are all there, but again, it is part of that grow up story. So some of the latest features that have come out in the last couple of months are kind of fun, and I'm going to demo all of this, so I won't talk a lot about these, but just as a recap here, you're going to see a whole bunch of new labels. When you think about databases, I love ways to sort, filter, pivot, group information. Labels have expanded to 25, where it used to just be a small subset of choices. We'll see fun things like confettis and spark and sound for task completions. And what's nice about that is that you can actually see progress lines of things as they're getting done. Since we're thinking about little of the Microsoft to-do tool, which really was picking up Wunderlist and having this mobile experience, you've got new backgrounds. You can kind of dress up your plans. What I find it useful is that sometimes a different background helps you differentiate between what project you're in. A lot of times we jump from planner board to planner board. Well, some people like to have themes that say, hey, this is the marketing theme, or this is my finance team checklist theme, or perhaps this is kind of the pre-requirements, or we're in a sales environment. So you can kind of personalize these and make them work. And again, you've got new tasks that you can chat from, or you can open up different commands. And again, a lot of this is driven into the task hub, which was called Teams by Planner and To Do. And we'll see a little bit more about that coming up as well. In fact, we'll be talking more about this in other sessions. Also, if you have a planner board, I love to be able to say, I don't want to type all this stuff in. Let's just copy the plan. Well, at some point, it's just not copy the planner board and recreate this as a template, but more appropriately, you might want to grow that up into a full-blown project schedule. So Microsoft continues to look at the whole idea of helping you move from planner to maybe a heavier tool, but the idea is that you can do that crawl, then walk, then run versus jumping all the way into an enterprise system. So again, that whole concept of keeping that pendulum of task and work management fluid with as little friction as possible is important. All right, going into our environment here, let's actually see a demo of this. And this is really my favorite part of the day, is jumping into kind of the overall information. So again, here I'm in my planner board. And again, I have this nice little welcome screen. In fact, you're going to see a few of these dropping out almost every other month. They have little new tidbits, things that have been added. So if you want to pull the downloaded app for your mobile experience, you certainly can do that. And what's helpful is if you haven't tried, for example, Microsoft Teams, a lot of times we'll be working in a team meeting and I got to hop up, grab my phone, run to the car. I keep that experience going. So I don't necessarily have to sit there with a tablet or a device. I can still work in my planner boards, checking off things that are done. So I can do that from a mobile experience. Now let's just get into taking a look at some of the new features here. So this is kind of my new hub here, and I'll show you a couple things, but let me open up an existing planner board. And what's great about this is you still got your buckets. You can organize things. We certainly can add pictures and checklists in there, but let's talk about new backgrounds. And I'm going to come up here and click right on the overall team here. And when I bring this up, it kind of brings what we call the plan settings. Several ways to get there. Certainly you can go through your menus and you'll see a few things here, but here's plan settings as well. But right out of the gate, you could talk about changing the backdrop. So if I want to come in here and kind of change the overall feel, it doesn't have to be so stark or black or white. You can really kind of get into maybe a better look and feel of what that information is. So again, adding that new background, very helpful. Others is we get into notifications, and I really talk about the idea that, hey, listen, if I'm assigning a task to myself, sometimes I want a notification or an alert or reminder that will come in. And so if we're thinking in terms of sharing this or assigning that says, hey, if something's past due, let me know about it. Well, you can actually check these on or off, especially with certain boards, because you might be getting inundated on things that maybe you're not looking for. Or maybe it's a planner board to help you learn how to use Planner. And the last thing you need to do is have that added to your 300 emails that you're already getting per day. So you've got some improved notifications and some availability. Now let me drill into one of my cards here, and I'll just jump in. This is called Choose Dashboard Graphs. And you'll notice that they've actually got a label row, which allows you to come in and add some labels. But look at this. Instead of having just kind of the old standard set here, we actually have quite a few to choose from. So lavender, dark blue, light blue, and sometimes I make fun of this, which is, hey, you've got white, you've got eggshell, you've got taupe, you've got all flavors of white, but it's not really that many. But visually, when I create a label that says, hey, look, if I've got my low, medium priority, maybe I want to come up here with the aqua, and I'm going to rename aqua to be something a little bit more appropriate. In fact, maybe this is my PMO review. And when I have this type of a label, again, we can see that information. And now when I'm visualizing this, I can certainly come up here and say, well, don't just group by bucket. Let's group by those labels. So here's my high, my low, my medium. I've got some reporting items I want to take a look at. And as we begin moving through the overall board here, you'll notice, there's PMO sitting right there. So we can kind of color code these. We can look at compliance. And again, you can add additional labels out here. Here's my PMO review that I just did. And so if I want to free these up or change those again, I can come back, change that label. But I love the idea of having more ways to group or organize the information in terms of what we're seeing, not just by who it's assigned to or perhaps the overall progress, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But the idea is that we really are treating this like a relational database where I can manage that. All right, let's go back in and let's just drill into one of our tasks here. And I don't think I turned my sound on, but what's kind of fun here is when you check these off, they make a little sound. In fact, you notice that there's a little progress bar that says, when I create a card, the idea of a card is not to just build one card and put a million things in there. I want to assign the work to different people. There are different groups. They might have different due dates. And when you go in there, instead of having lots and lots of cards, you might just say, hey, listen, if we're going to work through the design phase, or if I'm trying to validate my requirements, here's the checklist of things that we want to work through. And so as I prototype or review colors, I can kind of check these off. I can see the overall visualization. And of course, if I want to show that progress right on the card itself, I'm able to come in here and toggle these on or off. And what we'll do is we'll get an overall roll up a date. In fact, let me just show you that behind the screen. So here's that activity. And it used to have a picture there, but now what I'm doing is showing on the card, instead of this picture, I'm saying, hey, there's the checklist. I can actually see what that is. So again, turn it off. Then I can see my pictures appear or disappear based upon what I want to make visual or available. Now, I like the whole idea of sparks and checklists. In fact, when you get these done, you'll see when you mark something 100% complete, you can actually go through and say, not a problem, but watch this. If I come in, I just say, hey, listen, choose dashboard graphics. The whole thing's done. When I click on it, it gives us a little spark. Let me see if I can do that a little slower, but I'll talk about that celebration. You'll see a little dash splash right here, and you get these little sounds, little heart playing, that it's actually progressed. So again, from our perspective, we've got good options, we've got visuals, we have alerts and notifications, which sometimes if we're clicking on things, we go, oh, I didn't mean to mark that done. Or, hey, listen, it gives you a little bit of a reward, if you will, for finishing some of the activities. The other is that we talk about better Teams integration. And when we talk about Teams, sometimes we refer to as a planner board might have an email address where a team actually has an environment that says, hey, look, if I'm creating a task and I want to chat or have a channel around some of these, I basically want to align these. And so I don't want to just go and say, well, I'm looking at one board. And if I want to look at all my tasks, not just from this board, but I want to look at, hey, group it by any plan, pretty helpful. But when I think about these views that says, hey, look, here's all of your tasks and the checklist that we've got, it might be easier for us to see this a little bit more in a visual that says, let's give a list in either Microsoft To Do, which is another work management tool, task management tool as well as Planner. So the board is helpful in terms of some of our visualizations, and whether I go into my Planner Hub and I drill into a specific plan, it certainly helps you update. But the idea is that if I want to templatize this or see them, well, a couple ways. One, if you want to copy that plan, we literally can create a plan. In fact, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll make a template and I'll call this marketing team template. And every time I come in here, I'll go grab that, make a copy of it, and then I'll name it specifically for the type of project that we're working on. So in this case, not only can I copy a link or I can export the plan to Excel, but the idea is that I can also add it to an Outlook calendar. And so again, copying that plan just allows me to pick a new security group that perhaps I've already stood up. Again, very similar to what we'll find in our Teams environment because they're using that same structure. But then I can say, you know what, I want to keep the descriptions, the checklists, the labels, but I don't need to marry the attachments, obviously, and I don't need to keep the priorities and dates because it'll be a new plan. But the idea is I can create a new option here and manage that. Now we're talking about Teams, right? And saying, hey, it's great to see my planner board here, but when I'm working in a Teams environment, in fact, let's just bring up our Teams window and let's just go here and bring it right into our screen so we can see this a little bit better. What's fun about this is that as I'm working in my environment, a lot of times I might want to be in a place that says, hey, look, I just see lots of these activities. And yes, I can click on a channel or a team. I could look at the files. I can look at the planner board that's going on. And maybe perhaps we have a project for the web environment where we're actually building more deep schedules. Or perhaps you're thinking about growing your planner board into more of a timeline view with assignments and visuals. Well, as we open these up, and if you have the right license and permission, all of this still stays in Teams. But what if I want to see all of my work activities kind of in a team view? So I'm going to go here on the left-hand side and add an app. And there's actually lots of ways to add this. But if I want to make a visual, you'll notice one here called Task by Planner and To Do. And if I click right here, what this will do is say, hey, listen, if you would like to see all of your tasks coming in from both the Microsoft To Do, which is a great checklist, flag your emails, create little mini task lists, we can see those. But I can also see in kind of a list view the information in terms of here's my shared plans from Planner. And if I go in here, I can look at different items, both hidden and normal. So I've got this visualization of what we call a task hub of information. And now I can work directly in this view, including adding filters by what's due. I can filter by keyword. In fact, maybe if I'm just looking for follow-up, here's all my follow-up activities coming out of my planner boards or to-do. So again, from a Teams perspective, it gives you that kind of picture across all of those. You can progress and manage these in a much better list view. And again, you can see the task and the source of where that content is coming from. So I love the ability to continue to build with Planner, using Planner to kind of keep teams organized and working together. And again, the way that we're using some of these is certainly to help filter and showcase the value of our work activities. And certainly, as you know, Teams kind of is that collaboration hub with SharePoint sitting down below underneath it for documents and files, but all of that's available for us to work from. So again, coming back here, great changes, great enhancements, things that you can do. Again, I love the idea of copying my plan and leveraging some of the new features and continue to watch the grow up story in Planner. So let's kind of summarize now that we've had a chance to see a little bit of the live demo, some of the latest updates. Again, simple, quick, efficient. But as we go forward, think in terms of how you and your organization can use this. Certainly, there's going to be more features kind of enabled and turned on. But remember, Microsoft's goal with Planner is to keep it simple. They're not trying to make this into a new advanced scheduling technology. They already have plenty of those. And so we'll see more features, little enhancements that'll appear in the future, but more appropriately, the interweaving of Planner across Teams and other Microsoft Office 365 technologies are going to be helpful. Again, it's strong, it's light, it's agile. We can certainly switch between our Kanban views, our task views, or pop it into a Teams view and certainly look at it more from a list perspective. But the idea is that Task Hub is helpful to work from. So you've got new labels, you've got notifications, you've got the confetti and the sound and the progress line, some of the sparkles that will come in there. And for some of us project managers, we're like, oh, how cute. It's like a new puppy. But let me tell you, when you're working as a team, I am amazed at how many people don't know about some of these simple things that just lets their people have a great user experience working with Planner in the Planner environment. So as you go through there, again, think the idea is that this is blended, it's tied together. Hopefully today you picked up some of the latest features, tricks, and tips that will help you be productive with your team. And again, that whole idea of start small, crawl, walk, run, maybe grow this into a project or use it to supplement. Maybe you've got a detailed project desktop plan, or maybe you've got a project online or a project for the web schedule, but you don't need to put all the micro items in there. It's really the high level timeline and level of effort that you're modeling with your reports. Planner is a great supplemental tool that allows you to say, hey, a lot of the minutia we can manage and make sure it gets done, but it's designed to work collaboratively together. So again, as you go through, hopefully this was helpful. And again, I tell people, reach out to us anytime if you've got questions. Love hearing comments, love hearing for new topics if you have ideas. And remember, we do have a YouTube channel, which a lot of these will go out there. Maybe you're watching that through this today. But we also have a Thinkific channel. We have a learning management system that's also free. But you get PDUs if you're in PMI. So love to share this, love to keep content going out there. Hopefully this makes you productive. And again, thanks for your time. I'm Tim Runcie, and have a great time using Planner.